Rivera, and I will be doing this presentation on Alexander Bell. Have you ever wondered who invented the first model of the little device that so many of us use in our hands for at least 5 hours a day? Have you ever thought that about the person who had such a brilliant idea that it would one day become a household item? Many of us don't really think about it as much as we would think we would. It's funny because we use this device at least every 5 minutes checking it. Yes, this device I'm talking about is no other than the telephone. And the creator of it is no other than Alexander Graham Bell. Cell phones have turned into such a huge phenomenon. Thanks to Alexander G. Bell, let's explore the evolution and impact Alexander Bell had on the world. We don't realize how important this invention of the phone was for society, especially today's society as a whole. If phones were never invented, then we would not be in such a tech-savvy lifestyle. The invention of the phone was so important factor of saving tons of lives. With the phone, people could call for emergency services. Let me say, it's just an extremely important invention. Another great use of the phone is to talk to family and friends from long distances from right where you are at. The use of the phone today are basically incredible with endless possibilities. During this presentation, we will review the background of Alexander Graham Bell and the history behind the inspiration to invent the phone and the invention itself. The third and fourth topic we will touch is the evolution of the modern day cell phone. Then I will inform you about the money aspect of this invention. Now that we know the topics, let's continue to explore this magnificent inventor and invention. First, let's learn a little bit about Alexander Graham Bell. This incredible inventor was born in Edinburgh, Scotland on March 3rd, 1847. He was the second son of Alexander Melville Bell and Elise Grace Simons Bell. He was actually named after his grandfather. While he was young, he was inspired by profound experiences that later affect his future. His hometown was known as the Athens of the North, very well known for its rich culture in science and arts. His mother also inspired him to achieve big challenges due to her nearly being deaf and becoming an accomplished pianist. While at the age of 12, he noticed one day, while playing with his friend by the grind mill, noticed the slow process of the mill husking the wheat grain. Later that day, he went home to create the exact same model. When he was 16, he took over his father's family-owned London operation businesses. Shortly after, the family moved to Bradford, Ontario, Canada. In 1871, Alexander moved to Boston. There, he started to work on a device that allowed telegraph transmissions of several messages set by different frequencies. He soon went to local inventors Thomas Sanders and Grant Hubbard and received financial banking. During the year 1873 and 1874, Bell spent long nights and days perfecting the harmonic telegraph. But during the experiments, he became interested in an even bigger, greater project. You guessed right. He was interested in transmitting human voices over wires. In other words, the telephone. You can bet his benefactors became worried Bell was not focused on the harmonic telegraph and hired Thomas Watson to refocus Bell. Although right away Watson became extremely interested in Bell's invention and with his electronic skills formed a strong alliance with Bell. With Bell being a mastermind behind the invention and Watson making it come alive, the magical day finally came on March 10, 1876. Bell and Watson hit the goal. Watson heard Bell's voice through the wire and thus received the first phone call. Alexander Bell created the first telephone with Thomas Wyatt. The telephone was such an amazing invention, it inspired others to add on to its success. On April 3, 1973, Martin Cooper, a Motorola employee, made the very first cell phone call. Shortly after that, all sorts of cellular devices came into play, like the flip phone, where the mouthpiece flips over the keyboard, also created by Motorola. After that, the full keyboard cell phone, then the iPhone to the Galaxy Note, and many more to come. Everyday businesses are looking for new ways to innovate, ways of transforming the phone to bigger and better. I wouldn't doubt that one day we'll even be able to see holographic images over your phone screen. Over the years, telephones have become a billion-dollar industry and let's just say one of the most valuable inventions of all time. Now, Alexander Bell did not get rich from his invention right away, but when he did, he did. According to OldTimePhones.com, the American Bell Telephone Company was established on February 20th, 1880, and capitalized over $7 million and left Bell 133,000 telephones. By signing a patent, but later was challenged by over 600 lawsuits, in which Bell won or settled. Rumor has it Bell gave his wife 297 shares of AT&T, which she gave to her father, which would have been a net 42,000, which translates to as much as 5.5 million in economic power. In 1885, Bell's telephone system would forever be known as AT&T. The evolution of the telephone inspired many more inventors to create better versions of the first telephone and bring billions of dollars to their company. For Alexander Bell, it took a long process and a lot of patience to create the very first telephone. But little did he know his invention would turn into such a worldwide phenomenon for years to come. The evolution of the telephone has since grown and continued to grow, even though Alexander did not make that much off of his invention. He did start a multi-million-dollar industry. Now you tell me, did you know this much about the telephone creation? It is truly inspiring how one simple idea sparked a creation that will continue to grow for as long as humans are around. Do you feel like you learned something? I sure hope so. I feel like anything is possible for us to do if we put our minds to it. After all, even Alexander Graham Bell said, "Concentrate all your thoughts upon the work at hand. The sun's rays do not burn until brought to focus." Thank you very much.